Welcome to the 1/6 Scale Man proudly presents Take Your Position. It's been a while, I know, but had a lot of things going on. But like I said, I wanted to kind of double back and kind of tackle the things that are really important to me, such as collecting, such as the figures, such as the 1/6 scale posing. This is what I do. This is what I love. And I want to bring this to you. Now, like I said, I started this, a while back and, kind of give you a bit of a tutorial how to, take some figures that you would think would only look great in museum poses and kind of give them some presence in your detoff. I wanted to tackle some of the harder figures, some of the ones that would be a tad bit harder for people to figure out how to kind of give that presence to, especially when it comes to the seamless bodies, Fison bodies, what have you. Especially with some of the Hot Toys figures that we actually get. Sometimes when you have the seamless bodies, you want to be extra careful of how you pose them. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure you want to have that presence in your detoff. So this is what I'm going to actually attempt to do with this particular video. And I chose the Justice League Wonder Woman to kind of help pull this off. Again, this is a grail piece. If you don't already have this in your collection, you can pretty much find it through certain sites, but it might be a tad bit expensive right now, considering that this figure is no longer available through Sideshow or some of the main distributors. But you can find it; it's out there. But again, what I want to attempt to do is to give this figure some presence. So I have it out here in front of you right now, and we're going to attempt to do so. Also, we are going to actually add, another special feature. This cape is a custom cape that I got here, and we're going to actually have this custom cape with this particular figure. So we're going to give her a bit of presence, pose her in a way that pretty much would give your detoff a bit more substance, give it a bit more pizzazz. And you don't want it just to be the standard museum pose, but at the same time we're going to pull something off that will give her a bit of we want to give her some presence. We wanted to give, we're going to put her in like a slightly iconic pose, but to the point where it doesn't, there's no wear and tear on the actual figure. You don't have to worry about damaging her. But at the same time, you can be a little risky. So this is what we're going to actually attempt to do. So hold on to your seats. We're going to jump in. We're going to tackle Diana Prince, aka Wonder Woman. Let's get it going. Now, the biggest thing I wanted to pay attention to is the simple fact that, like I said, we are dealing with a seamless body here. There are joints, but it is seamless. And that's just to kind of maintain the presence of the figure, the integrity of the figure itself. So I don't mind that they actually went this route, but it is a tad bit restricting. So I wanted to kind of point that out. You do actually have some joints here, exposure joints that you can kind of like play around with and manipulate, which we'll get into in just a second. But besides that, and besides the simple fact that the wrist joints, are, we can actually maneuver around that as well. A bit of pivot. Besides that, yeah, pretty much everything else about this figure is contained, and it is restrained by the simple fact that it is seamless. Now, I know that there have been a lot of people, a lot of, viewers who said they have this and they've experienced a couple of different things. One, the tearing in the back here on the back of the actual arm. Sometimes even behind the leg, there was a bit of tear. And we want to try to find a way to avoid it to the point where you're not doing way too much, to take away from the integrity of the figure. We don't want to actually do that. But I did want to point this out so you can see that head on, that look. Yes, it is a seamless body, but yes, you are in danger of damaging this figure if you push it too much. But there is a way, and I'm going to present you with the cheat code, and we're going to get this done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the legs first, okay? Because it's more important to get the proper stance and work your way up. That is to me, in my opinion. We're going to start with the proper stance, and then we're going to work our way up to the top. So here's how we're going to actually cheat this. Now, I'm going to keep this pretty much the same. This is how this leg is. You do get some, Bit of articulation right there, but that's just it. You know, I want to leave this pretty much the way it is because I have the pose in mind. But with this foot, we're going to kind of cheat here. So as you can see, does the same thing that the other does, and you can actually tilt this wrist up here. Let me actually kind of pivot in a tad bit. So you can see here, now this is the shin guard here. We have that part of her boot, but you can see it actually has that split boot cut seam right there. And you can see where most of the majority articulation is, and you get that movement there. But you might be wondering, well, why can't I get it back and forth? Well, there's a trick to it. If you haven't already figured it out, if you don't already have this figure, you probably did. And I'm probably not telling you something new, but at the same time, we're going to figure out how to get that pivot. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn this foot like so there. Now you can see how you do get that pivot back and forth. Now by doing that, what we're going to actually do is we're going to twist this around, this peg around like that. We're going to actually take this peg. I just pulled the boot out, but you know, to get what I want, we're going to do it. So I'm going to twist it to the side like that, pull that peg down, take the boot and put it right back in. Okay. So we're going to get it in there just like so. And you see, I basically have the ankle pivot that I need. Okay. Now this is for a particular reason. I want you to actually see why I'm doing this. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to take this leg, bend it ever so slightly, not too much, but just to get the stance that I want. Twist it around, and we're going to tilt this leg out like that. So as you can see, the stance is her bended, but we're going to get this foot to pivot out sort of like so. Okay. Now, let me bring that down like that. So we got her standing this way, but we got this leg tilted out, twisted to the side to give her a bit more stance to there, but at the same time it's grounding her. Now, I kind of want to use this pose simply because, like I said, I want to put her in sort of like an attack mode. So I have what I want as far as her legs, as you can actually see to the side. I have her standing exactly the way I want her to stand. Okay, ready to go, action, always. Now, with this shielded arm, sort of glad it's sort of like that. I didn't want to do too much to it. And again, like I said, we're going to work our way up. Now, with this arm, we have it slightly bent with the shield, but I'm going to actually pull it out slightly like that. And that's not going to take too much integrity away. And then I'm going to bend it ever so slightly up, you know, from the elbow. Not really where it's actually taking too much away, but to the point where we're going to get what we want. Okay. So as you can see, I have it built ever so slightly, arm bent up, you know, in like an emotion where she's holding a shield, you know, to protect herself. This arm, now you see that this particular arm over here is already slightly out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push it out just a little bit more, not too much. And I'm going to twist the arm sort of like that way. Now, that's just to give her that stance where she's ready to go. Like she's ready. Now, if we go up to the head here, I'm going to take the head and I'm going to turn it slightly like that. Okay? Because I want to get it to whereas she's already sees her target. She's in attack mode. I have her hair twisted here, slightly like that. She's in attack mode. She's ready to go. Okay. She has her lasso of truth already around her waist. She has her shield up. And she's ready to do battle. Now, again, this isn't doing way too much. Okay. Because at the same time, let's kind of scale back here. At the same time, I don't want to take too much away from it. I don't want to damage the figure. But at the same time, you can see kind of where I'm going with it. And if I tilt it out to the side, you can actually see. This leg is slightly bent. Foot positioning's in the right space. But you twist that wrist peg around and you can actually get some pivot in that foot there. Just enough to give her that balance, that balance that she needs. You can actually pull up the pad if you wanted to get a little bit more. Boom, just like that. And she's there, okay? Again, it's Diana Prince, and she's ready to go, okay? Now, again, these are slight moves. It's nothing that's too much. It's not taken away. And mind you, even though they're seamless, in between the legs there, they do have two joints that you can move the legs out as much as you want. So you're not taking away too much from that, okay? Now, the finishing product is going to be this cape. This beautiful cape that I have here. I'll tell you where I got it at the very end of this video. Don't want to give it away until I'm ready to. But what we're going to do, now this is a customized cape. It is wired. So basically what I'm going to do is to give it some presence. I'm going to take this cape. I'm going to fold it down first to get what I want. I'm putting the cape just slightly around the figure, just enough, because there's a couple of different things I'm going to actually do with it, okay? Now, again, it's going to take some futzing around to kind of get this thing going, but we're going to get it going. So, again, I have the cape. As you can see, it is covering her hair ever so slightly, but there's a reason why, and I'm going to show you in a minute. Now, this is a wired cape, so you can give it the motion that you basically want, all right? So I want it to where as the wind is blowing from this way, so the opposite way, it's blowing the cape that way, not to where it's flushed this way, but it's blowing it that way. So I want to, create the imagery that the cape is basically flowing the opposite direction, in which he's basically in attack mode. So what we're going to do, actually, bring that down. There we go. So I just wanted to fix it in the back to where it doesn't look too strange. I'm going to bring this, now mind you, it's wired, so I'm going to bring the wires up. You want to build it, tilt it that way, flush it a little bit. And that's what I like about these wired capes, is the simple fact that I can do so much with them. And let me just turn it around a bit. We're going to turn this around. As you can see, it is wired just enough. So just imagine if the wind, now she's going to be facing this way, but I just wanted to show you this way, the opposite way. Imagine if the wind was blowing from the back. So what you want to do is take this cape. I want to make sure she's standing in the right position. We're going to take that, flush it in the back here, and we're going to have it flowing this way. So I'm going to pleat it slightly. And I'm going to turn it back around, because I want to make sure that I get the pose that I'm looking for. And we're going to bring this over this leg slightly like that to create the image where that cape is nicely flowing. Okay. And it is wired, and that's what I love about it, is that you can pull off some magic with this thing. It's amazing. Now, this is to whereas this portion of the cape, to just imagine her arm is flushed out this way because she wants that arm, she wants the cape tucked under, she's exposing that sword, she's ready to go, but the cape is flying that way, okay? So just imagine that. And we're going to get some of that cape flowing down across the bottom of her leg here, okay? Again, you can create it however you want. I decided to do it this way. Have it to where it's slightly over her hair, but not too much. Have her leg bent. This leg is out. She's ready to attack. She has her shield up, guarding herself. Nice cape. I'm just a sucker for capes. And when this was released, I had to jump on it. And I'm so glad I got it. And I'm so glad I got it from her. I'm a Wonder Woman fan, as everybody knows. So I wanted to kind of do her some justice. So, yep. We're going to flow it back like that. Pull it up. And bam. Simple. Very simple. Not too much, but just enough to give her that presence. As you can actually see, spin it around. She's in motion. She's ready to go. The wind is blowing this way, blowing the cape, flushing that way. We have it kind of messing with the cape here. Get her hair out of her face. The hair flushed under the cape to bring it to the front. If you want to know what I actually use to keep the hair's integrity, I use beard balm. Literally, beard balm. And it works. Definitely works. But anyway, yep, this is what I got. And on top of that, let's turn it around to the back so you can actually see what I mean by that. Even when you turn it around that way, you still get a lot of presence with this figure. You see her standing there in her position, in her attack, and she's ready to go. Diana Prince, all day. She's not playing. She's ready to go. Leg tilted, all day, ready to do battle. And that's it. Just as simple as that. And you get everything that you need from this figure. Simple poses, not too much, just enough to get what you actually need. Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, all day. And like I said, if you want to give it some presence in your DTOF, you have it just like this, ready to go. And you're not damaging the actual figure. You're not bending too much. You're not extending too much. You have it in a nice pose. I love this figure. Even though I am waiting on the golden armor and the 1984 version with the sculpted hair, I still like this figure. Still one of my favorites. But yeah, here we go. Diana Prince. Diana Prince, aka Wonder Woman, made her first appearance in 1941 in All-Star Comics, and ever since then she's been very iconic and important to the DC universe. This figure I did actually purchase through Sideshow Collectibles. Very happy that I actually got it. It's from Hot Toys, and it does give it that presence. This figure also, the character was brought to life by Gal Gadot. In her own, first off, we got her in the Batman vs. Superman, and then in her own single film, Wonder Woman, and the most recent Wonder Woman 1984, which was very controversial. But yeah, there were still some aspects of the film I love. Anyway, again, this is a seamless body rendition, and I just wanted to kind of have some fun with it and show you how you can pull off a dynamic pose without damaging or risking the integrity of this figure. Beautiful figure to have in your DTOF. And of course, if you have the Justice League, you want to have this figure at all times. You want to actually complete the set. We are going to get Cyborg soon, so you want to complete that. Also, you just want to complete the Trinity. If you have Batman, if you have Superman, then you want to get this figure, definitely. But yeah, just wanted to kind of play around with some poses, give you an idea of how you can create something magical with this figure without really being afraid to kind of push the limit, and at the same time without damaging this figure. Again, I got it through Sideshow. It's no longer available, but you can get it through other outlets. It might be a bit expensive, but you can still find her. Again, you want to get her while you can. Very beautiful. Gal Gadot, what can I say? Anyway, I will put the link at the bottom, a couple of links at the bottom where you can actually find this figure. Again, if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and share, and as always, prepare for my next video. This is LR for the 1/6 Scale Man proudly presents Take Your Position. Hopefully this was helpful, and it gave you some tips. There will be another video coming soon, So just stay tuned. As always, LR, peace and love. Let's go.